My rank is Master Gunnery Sergeant. That's an E9 in the United States Marine Corps. My full name is Seldon Jamal Jackson.
Have you ever had to overcome racial barriers in your career? If so, how did you handle it?
I was an E5. E5 selected to E6. So the sergeant selected to staff sergeant. I had an officer, I worked for an officer, and we get what's called fitness reports. Fitness reports is an evaluation of what you do on your job. So there was me, and I was on my way to PCS to another duty station, and a white Marine was coming in to take my spot. So I was training the white Marine. We had about a 3-4 month overlap. So I was training the white Marine to the job that he was going to do, which was my job at the time. During this period, the officer tasked me with taskers. He continued to task me with taskers that I accomplished and was teaching the sergeant, the new sergeant coming in, how to do the job. During this entire time, the officer continued to give the sergeant all the accolades for each tasker that I accomplished, which at the time was fine with me because me being a senior sergeant, staff sergeant select at the time, I saw it as a leadership goal to bring the sergeant up to par to better his career. However, when it became a problem is when I overheard the officer, make comments such as Black Marines are lazy, Black Marines can't swim, and slavery wasn't as bad as, liberals make it out to be. Comments like that kind of shocked me initially. I didn't expect that coming from senior members or senior leaders. So they caught me off guard. So I kind of, in saying how I handle it, I kind of swept that under the rug. However, it became more of an issue when I actually got ready to PCS. He didn't write me an award, which is called the end of tour award, or you get an award for everything you accomplished during your tour. Well, because I was selected to staff sergeant E6, the officer said that everything that I did, my reward was being selected. So he gave me no recognition for anything I did. However, he gave the white sergeant, all the accolades. And in addition to that, the things he wrote in my fitness report were pretty negative and did not equal my job that I had done in my billet. Not only that, it was indicative on the comments that he made as far as blacks are lazy, all blacks are lazy, blacks can't swim, and slavery was a choice. And I say that because as I was PCSing, there was no real requirement for a swim qualification to be promoted. However, he made a point to tell me that he would not allow me to get promoted if I didn't complete swim qual. Now, at the time, that struck a nerve because of the comments that he made previously and because of the things he wrote in my fitness report. So the resolution to that was I got another Marine involved, a senior enlisted Marine, who was familiar with the officers' interactions with Black Marines. So he got involved and he read through my fitness report and he consulted higher and he got them involved. So long story short, I ended up PCSing.
Did you ever have any encounters with racist subordinates or peers?
As described before, yes, there was an officer who, based on my description of the events, I felt that was a racist encounter with him. Peers, yes, I've encountered it with peers. And one incident I would identify is I was talking to a peer, a white Marine, and at the time he had this pill bottle. So he handed the pill bottle to me, opened it, and said, "Can I get the pill out for him?" Me not thinking nothing of it, I took the the cotton, there was a cotton swab thing in the top. So I took that out, poured the peel in my hand and handed him the peel. So his response to that was, his comment actually was, that's how I like black people to act. I like blacks to pick my cotton. I just handle it. As a leader, every incident, I just learned you can't allow things, you can't react off emotion. So I took it and didn't take it personal and just identified the issue, especially for Marines coming behind me, because me handling it in another way, it was, no one would be able to further their career if you continue to handle it that way, because like I also identified, you would be up for NJP, which would eventually get you kicked out of the military. So that's the way I chose to handle it. And obviously 26 years, I'm still here to talk to you about it and to have this interview.
Got any advice for African Americans looking to get into the military?
It would be incumbent upon you to identify issues, enforce policies, and call out issues where equality policies aren't enforced, because they're in place for that reason. And in addition, I would say, as far as race, do not base or paint everyone with a broad brush. Meaning, even though I identified a few issues or a few racial issues that I've encountered in the Marine Corps, overall, the institution is a great institution as far as brotherhood, diversity, and equality. So I do not want to get it misconstrued that the questions I answered is a generalization of the Marine Corps. For one, it's what you make it, and for two, it's not. There is, again, diversity and equality. And I would also add that for my career in general, obviously the Marine Corps is predominantly white, and there's been more white Marines that's helped my career than black Marines. By the numbers, obviously, because there's more white Marines. So I just say that to say, for an African American looking to join the military, there will be, and there are, white Marines just as well as black Marines eager to help you advance in your career. You just cannot take the approach that there's going to be racism. Even though there is, you have to look at the positives as far as the broader number of racism. Meaning there's a 10% rule. There's about a 10% bad in everything. So there's maybe 10% or less of racism, but there's 90% of the Marines doing the right thing. So you have to look at that and just don't judge anyone based on their race.